started, restarted the stream to see if that settles some of the difficulties that are going on right now. Let's hope that it works. Alright, so while we're waiting to see if that works out, when I get started here, I have my very well used art rag here. It's seen some stuff, lots of paints and burns and stuff on it like that. I'm gonna use it to clean off my dip pen when I'm finished. There you can see all the ink sort of hanging inside of those crevices and stuff. Let's start with doing like a little bit of our parameters. This is where we're going to be drawing. Sometimes using a whole page can be a little bit intimidating. So if we kind of mark off an area like that, I like to give my drawing area curved sides. I just think it looks different. I don't know. I like it. Now, inside of here, what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna put some big drips on the corners, which is actually really easy to do with this pen because, whoops, when you first put it on, or when you first dip it, it collects a lot of ink right there at the tip. So we have our little blobs, our little dots of color, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of work them out, spread them out like this, fill in that corner a little bit, make them like grasping, I guess. I'm not sure why, but it's just an interesting look, I suppose. I don't know, maybe it looks like roots for a tree, or hair or something. I don't know. Something long and tangly, that's for sure. I don't know, nerve synapses or nerve endings, maybe. Ooh, this corner has a lot of ink in it. And do a lot of spreading out here. There we go. Now, I'm not really doing it in any particular order. I'm just trying to, I'm trying to get it all spread out, just see how far it goes. I don't want to necessarily cover up the whole area with this, but I want to cover up like a fair amount of it. Let's get some more down here at the bottom. It looks like it's lacking a little bit of lines. This stuff is probably staining through the page to the other side, but well, I guess we'll just have to find out later. If I flip it open right now, all my ink will just go everywhere. There we go. It's very difficult for me to start my stream today because I was desperately looking around the house for a pencil sharpener. I knew that we had one somewhere, but I just could not for the life of me find it. I looked everywhere. I looked in my art supplies, I looked in my wife's art supplies, I looked in my kids' art supplies. It was just nowhere to be found. I eventually found it in the sitting room desk. I don't know why it was there, but maybe I'd put it there to hide it for use later on. I don't know. But eventually I found it. And then I ran into another problem, one that I have not yet solved. Last night we had chicken for dinner, and my cats decided that they wanted some too, I suppose. So it looks like they pulled down the trash can, knocked it over to get the leftover chicken bones. So it's kind of messy in there right now. After this, I'm gonna have to go and tidy that up. There we go. That's looking something. It's looking weird. Let's make this part a little bit longer right here. You don't want things to look too, I don't know, too planned out, I guess. This ink, I think it's kind of saturating the page, maybe making making it come up a little bit there. Oddly enough, it is not reaching, it's not covering the other sides, or going through the other side, so that's cool. So that's our brown done. Just clean off my dip pen real quick. And just get it mostly clean, all the big drops. Now, let's get some, yeah, I think some of this pink. What is it? What do they call it? Flaming pink or something like that. Boop. Bubble on top. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a similar thing, but I'm going to do it in the middle, reaching out. Like a starburst kind of thing. The music I've chosen for today is actually the soundtrack from the original Spyro the Dragon. He was my first video game love, I guess you would say. This is looking strange. I like it. I maybe put a little bit too much ink in the middle. Maybe I should have only done one drop instead of two. It's okay. It's just for fun, so it's okay if it doesn't look quite how you thought it would when you start out. Let's bring some more over here. There. At least it's looking interesting. Some of the pink has come over here and joined a little puddle of brown. That'll probably look real interesting when it dries. I loved the original Spyro the Dragon. Oh, all three of the first, all three of the early games. I never played any after that. By the time I got a PlayStation 2, Spyro Year of the Dragonfly, I think that's what the fourth game was called, had already been out a while, and I had already heard a lot of things about it. I heard that it wasn't very good or something like that. Something scared me off, and I never got it. I don't know. Maybe I should have. What else should we do? I want to put a little bit of blue in here. Whoop. Yeah, I don't want big drips on it right now, because what I want to do is just put a little bit of blue around the sides here. Just a hint. Oh. That's a little bit too little of a hint than what I was going for. Maybe I need to be a little bit more aggressive. Come on, pen. Work with me here. You're embarrassing me in front of the viewers. There we go. I still play the Spyro games, the first 3 of them sometimes. It's for fun. Just reminisce, I guess. Older times. I was very excited when I got them when I was little. Well, actually, you know what? Now I'm thinking about it, I didn't actually get them. I went over to a friend's house and would play them there. I don't know what this is, but it's weird looking. Uh-oh. It all came out at once. Well, you know what? What the heck? Why don't we just go ahead and... We already have a style here. Why don't we keep it up just a little bit more? Oops. See what kind of things happen when we scratch some blue on here and it mixes with the other colors. We didn't have a lot of video games when I was little, actually, so a lot of times I would go over to friends' houses and play. I remember playing the entire first Banjo-Kazooie at my friend's house, who had an N64. And Banjo-Tooie. He would even he would give me the game guides, like the books, and which I guess they still make those kind of things nowadays. Although with the internet, it doesn't really make much sense to me. You can just go online and look everything up. I guess it's more like for a collector's thing now. But this was before the internet was very prevalent. And that's looking really weird, that how that pink is kind of taken over that blue or that brown there. But my friend would like give me the his copy of Banjo-Tooie, the player's guide, and but he would tell me, he would like say, all right, you're not allowed to look ahead and see any of the next levels. You can only look and read about the one that you're on right now. But I always did anyway. Spoilers have never really been that big of a deal to me. I mean, I don't want to spoil other people's stuff, but to me, I'd rather, experiencing it and knowing it are, I think they're different for me. All right, that's looking pretty interesting here. Let me clean off my pen. I'll put this away now. Come on. And I think to do our title here, I think I'm going to use a whiteout pen. Oh, I'm already starting to get ink all over my fingers. Let's see if I can just get it to work. There we go. I should probably wait for it to dry, but let's just do it right now and see what happens. I can barely read it. Gotta concentrate and spell in my head, otherwise I'm gonna spell it wrong. I always forget to put the I's in inspiration. If I go over it again, it'll help it look a little bit more noticeable. This song is from the first boss battle in the game, which when I was little was so difficult. It was like super hard for me. I would always die over and over again doing it. And it's so weird to think back and think about how hard that was. And nowadays it's super easy. Like, it's not a difficult game at all. But when I was young, it was super hard. Like, it's very simplistic, that game. I mean, you can only do like 3 things. As a baby dragon, you can jump. You can't even fly. You can glide and breathe fire. Well, 4 things, because you can also headbutt. You can run really fast and hit things with your horns. And get this pink ink off of here. There we go. Let's get this T. So, I mean, it wasn't like it was not in any way, shape, or form a difficult game. But I guess since it was my first video game that I really played, that I really remember playing, it was hard for me. There we go. That's a little bit better. You can kind of see it better now. Kind of have to. I found it. Just realized that it's better if I tap in a line instead of trying to draw with this. This poor piece of paper. It's so wet now. If I tap, it pushes out the white out. But if I draw, it gets all clogged up. Okay. I think that's good for this particular is it warm up title card. My apron looks kind of cool with all the pink going with the white. I was just trying to clean my pen, but it made some cool little scribbles and stuff. And get ink all over my hands. Alright, well, I'm going to leave this over here to dry. Alright. Today we're going to finish up this picture. Why I need to get my pencil sharpener. As I was running out of all my pencils were getting really dull. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to work on, I think we're going to work on the potato first. So we're going to use this one for this sienna. We're going to use that for some of his, I don't know, his potato eyes, I guess. I mean, not his cartoony eyes, but like his little spots. I think we'll use this, the Prismacolor Sienna Brown. The Sienna Brown is a little bit darker. We'll use that for his potato skin. This is not a very good pencil sharpener. That's okay. You work with what you have. Let's see. And I think we're going to use an even darker kind of brown. Well, this is a brownish red, Tuscan red, Prismacolor. We use that for the accents and to work on his arms a little bit. And I think we need one more color because we do have a couple different spots on him. I don't want them to all be the same color. We have like a kind of a tannish, maybe. I'm not really seeing one that I think fits the bill. I'll just differentiate how much I push down to make different colors for the spots. That should probably be good enough. I'll put this away for right now. I love my little compact pencil carrying case. It's a very handy thing to have when you have a lot of colored pencils. I guess it's handy if you have a lot of pens too. Pretty much anything. Let's see if I can get this guy a little bit finer point. Nope, I think that's as good as we're gonna get it right now. I'm gonna start by doing his spots. Give them all just sort of a basic color right now, and then we'll go in and make some of them a bit darker and add some shading onto it. Pencil shavings on my picture. Let's get this one too. And you know what? I think that we'll do his nose in this color as well. I think that'll make it look good. Differentiate it from the rest of his body. And we'll go through, we'll make some of them a little bit darker. Ooh. I need to buy a better pencil sharpener. There we go. We'll make his nose a little bit darker too. Let's see, that's looking good. Now we said that the light was coming this direction. He's going to be in the shadow of the carrot mostly, so most of him is going to be pretty dark, comparatively. Compared to the onion, he's going to be very dark. There we go. All right. So let's start on the body of him. Get him all browned up here. Another reason why it was hard for me to start my stream today was because I'm reading this really good book right now. It's one of Terry Pratchett's Discworld novels, and they're just enjoyable to read. They're very witty, very humorous. He was a good writer. I don't like all the Discworld books. Some of them I've read haven't quite clicked for me. There's one, I think it was called Movie Magic, maybe something similar to that. But it was basically like Discworld version of Hollywood starting up, making moving pictures. I think that's what it was called, moving pictures. See, ever since his very first book, the Discworld books have always been about kind of the idea of what would this thing that we have in our day and lives be like if it was on the Discworld. The very first book, it's like tourism. What would tourism be like? The first tourist. What was the first tourist like coming to kind of this medieval kind of city? Turns out that he would be very naive. So, and the moving pictures one is like, what would it be like if Hollywood started in this kind of medieval magical land? Think of kind of like Lord of the Rings, but more fanciful, more political. Anyway, the one I'm reading right now, it's called Unseen Academicals, I think. See, a major part of the main city on the Discworld is the unseen university. It is the school where all the wizards live, basically, and it's all about football, learning how to do football and all the rules of it, but also about like the politics of it. Moving it from something that the lower class would play in the streets into something that the upper class make rules about and make official and things like that. But there's also this kind of subplot. I don't know if you would call it a subplot, a secondary main plot, I guess you would say, about this character named Mr. Nut, who is a goblin who is extremely intelligent but also very meek, usually, and the mysterious past of him, most of which he can't even remember or chooses not to share out of fear. In this kind of quest for him to make himself have worth. When he was being educated and raised by Queen, she kept telling him to have worth, to make yourself useful, make friends. Oh, give me 1 second. I need some water. Okay. Goodness. So what happens when you only drink coffee in the morning? It's not super good for you. Kind of messes up my throat, I guess. Alright, our potato's coming along here. We're gonna give them a little bit more, make them a little bit darker in color. Especially around his wrinkles. And make sure that we get that looking some shadows underneath it to give it kind of a three-dimensional look to it. Yeah, but it was a very, very important part of the book I was reading when my alarm went off, saying that I need to get ready for the stream. So it was like, oh, I wanted to keep reading. I wanted to see what was going to happen. Let's see. I'm going to give some shadow, like where the carrot's arm is casting a shadow on him. So we're going to make it a little bit darker underneath. Oh. Right next to his arm, where technically it'll be like the potato, or the arm is over him. Kind of like that. Put some shadow right here under this wrinkle. I have a tendency when I'm doing, when I'm coloring it. I do a lot of my drawings monochrome. I think it's because I get worried that my coloring skills are not great. That's why I'm kind of forcing myself to work on this. It's good practice. It's looking a little bit better. We don't want it to look too scratchy, as it were. Mr. Angry Potato. Fill him out a little bit. We're also going to make sure to get some shadow down here at the bottom of him to make him look like he is rounded at the bottom. Also because he's close to all this dirt, it's probably not reflecting very much light up. Dirt is not usually known as a very reflective surface. Alright, so we have that. We're going to blend it a little bit so it doesn't look too stark of a contrast. Yeah, it's looking okay. Have you ever been reading a book and then realize you have to go do something else and not like it's like I just need one more page, one more chapter. If so, let me know what book it is, because I'm always looking for more things to read. And blend this a little bit here, because this wrinkle shadow is a bit fierce, and I want it to be less so. I want it to be smooth transition. There we go. Oh dear, a little tired today. I tried to give him looks like an angry eyebrows kind of thing. When you crease your forehead, it can kind of make a line through your forehead. Don't want to get too carried away with this shading with this particular color, because I am going to use that other, what was it called? Tuscan Red. The Tuscan Red to give it a little touch up. Video game soundtracks make good background music because, well, I guess first of all, that's what they're made for. There's usually no words to them, but they usually have some sort of kind of like an energetic feeling. Alright, I'm going to give a little bit of shadow to him right here because Crazy Carrot Guy is blocking the sun. So we'll make sure that this part's a little bit darker over here. If I remember correctly, this song is also a boss theme. This is one of my favorite songs on the soundtrack. Make his arm a little bit darker, just like the carrot. I'm gonna try to make his arm a little bit darker to separate it from the rest of him. Especially that finger, since it's all covered up by the other ones. Made that finger too dark, I think. Now it looks like it doesn't fit in. That's okay. So we're just going to give him a little bit of red. It's dark brown red. Just around certain spots, just a little bit of it. Potatoes can be kind of, well, I mean, there are red potatoes, but even brown potatoes can have a little bit of a red tinge to them when looked at in the right line. Oh, this music makes me want to go really fast. Let's give it a little shadow around his nose, just a little bit of red there. Barely noticeable. I tried to make a portmanteau there for a second. Did not feel like it was working. There we go. I think that's looking okay. You know what? I think we need to Give him a little bit more shading around his edges here. Need to make it a little bit darker over here to make him look like he's rounded. Because otherwise, he won't look like a round potato, he'll look like a flat potato. There we go. It's looking a little bit better. Give a little bit more shading here in his angry eyebrow creases. A little touch of red. Like, that's a little accent.